Greetings, believers. Greetings to you, and we are happy to be here. Welcome to second segment of our 5th of July Sunday service. What a grace and what an amazing time to be alive today. We are so excited that we will be learning a lot. I have Brethren Charity who wants to greet you this afternoon.
Thank you, Amai. Greetings, brethren. We thank God for you. We thank God for the grace to learn again. Today we are expecting, Amai, to learn new things. Thank you so much. And we love you, brethren. Thank you, Amai.
Thank you, Brethren Charity, Pastor Irengwi.
Thank you, Amai. Greetings, believers. How are you doing all over the globe? Nyasha dziri kukuitai sei kwamuri? Ini kuno ndiri kukomborerwa nadzo zvakanyanya. Nyasha dzekungova mungarava, nyasha dzekuziva zvokwadi, nyasha dzekuva mupenyu munguva ino, nyasha dzekuva nemupostora pakati pedu, vamwe vachidya matoto enjiva, isu tichidya chikafu chisina kushatiswa. Ndiri kufara mazvita Amai.
Thank you. I shall pray. The only light and the only source of life that we have been given by God, Yahshua HaMashiach, the Son of the Most High God, unto whom belongs all power and all glory and all the wealth and all the treasures that are in heaven, that are in earth, and that are beneath the earth, and that are in the sea. Thou art worthy of our praise, and thou art worthy of our adoration. You are the breath of our nostrils. You are the anointed one of God. Why did the heathen rage, and why did the people imagine vain things? The people of the earth have come together against you, but God has raised you from the dead. And unto us thou wast given, a people that were far away from God, a people that were given unto idols and excesses of the sinfulness of the Gentiles. Today we have been brought unto light. Your light shines in our minds to flush out all evil imaginations that we have harbored from the days of our forefathers. The light that shines in our hearts to flush out hatred, to flush out envy, to flush out all evil concupiscence, to flush out the evils that were planted by the devil, that we may become a people chosen by God unto God, that we may be a people that are favored, a people that are given to sobriety, a people that have clarity of understanding of what is and what constitutes the standards of godliness, whereunto we were called. Holy thou art holy, and worthy thou art worthy, the only potentate, the Lord of lords, and the King of kings. Thou art seated on thine high throne and highly lifted up. Thine train fills the holy temple. The heavens, they declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night delivereth knowledge. There is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. Life and death are in thine hands. There is nobody who is born into this world without your permission, and there is no one who dies to leave this world and not at the express utterance of your voice. Thine eyes are like a fiery furnace, and thine voice is like mighty thunderings of war. Thou art surrounded by a sea of glass, clear as crystal. The rainbow, the mighty rainbow, overshadows thy throne. The four beasts with eyes backwards and forwards, they worship you day and night. The 24 elders cast down their golden crowns and they worship you forevermore, day and night. Let everything that has breath give thanks unto thee. We are the people that are called after thy name, and we are the people that you harvested from the worlds after your breathtaking perils on the cross. You did not die in vain. Even if the whole world is to forsake you, we are here as the remnant. We have not forgotten the call of salvation, the very essence of that pinnacle Calvary cross from which you paged for hours before they buried you in that cave that was not yours. You died for one reason, to save mankind from the wrath of God. And there is no other reason. You did not die to give us money. You did not die to give us husbands and wives. You died that those who were perishing might be brought back to life. It doesn't matter our peers, our kith and kin. They forsaken the glorious gospel of salvation. And after their lust of the flesh, they've now pursued after something that is not the gospel. We shall stand strong and astute in our faith because we are the remnant. We are the evidence that your sufferings on the cross were not in vain. We were resurrected from the dead, and thus we glorify you. We shall not worship trees and mountains and the moon and the sun and the stars. We shall not worship our dead relatives and our dead ancestors like we used to. We shall not worship our bodies and our lusts and our egos. There is only but one God, and that God we shall serve until we die. We are happy to live for you and to die for you. We shall never forsake the name of the Lord, for it is treasure to our ears and it is treasure in our hearts. How can we thank you, Lord Yeshua, for this salvation that is entrenched in the gospel that we hear every day? Our words fail us, they are not enough. We don't have money to give to you that is sufficient to express our gratitude and indebtedness unto you. For the salvation you have given us is far more precious than rubies. It is far more precious than silver and gold. It is far more precious even than the life we are living here on earth. You have purchased us unto God with thy blood. We shall sing a new song, and we shall worship you day and night. The name of the Lord shall be sacred in our lips. We shall not blaspheme it like what others are doing. And we shall always sing praises unto thee. And we desire that you teach us how to praise you sufficiently, for what we know is not enough. Teach us the heavenly language. Teach us the heavenly songs that are sung by angels, that we may praise you here on earth as you are praised by the angels in heaven. We thank you for our brothers and sisters that you are reaching out to through the preaching of the word that is spreading like veiled fire in all parts of the world, that you may help them, that you may order their steps as they come to the house of God. May they not be led astray by the agents of the kingdom of darkness. Those that are weak, give them strength to continue marching. And we pray for those that have already been saved, that they may still retain their faith up to the last day. We want to fight a good fight. We want to finish the race, that on that particular day, they may be laid up a crown of righteousness for us, and not for us only, but also for those who call upon the name of the Lord out of a pure heart. The foundation of God stands sure. It has a seal. The Lord knows them that are his. And let all those that call upon his name depart from iniquity. We shall praise you, Jesus. You are worthy of our praise, and you are worthy of every ministration that we shall do for you. Blessed be thy holy name. Amen. So I hope that we shall have a very short admonition. It is an admonition that is responding to the recent upheavals that are happening in the country of South Africa, where the South African citizens are agitated and have grown impatient about the increasing number of immigrants, particularly illegal or undocumented immigrants, and their demonstrations, which are also guaranteed in their constitution. But much more importantly, we are making this reaction as the house of God because of the security threats that such people who are foreign nationals are facing, which are in South Africa. Immigrants from Malawi, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, Nigeria, Ghana, Congo, Somalia, Ethiopia, the Democratic Republic of Congo, sometimes Zambia, and other countries that I may have not mentioned today. I will speak, and I want you to know that there is only one truth. There are not many truths. There may be many facts, but there is one truth. Facts are the current standpoint of situations on the ground. Facts about immigration, facts about politics, facts about economics. But when we speak, we that are in the house of God, we address what God has said about the situations or what God is saying about situations. There's nothing new under the sun. Solomon retorted in Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and chapter 2. We shall not read that. Read those scriptures in your own time. There was immigration even 2,000 years ago. There was immigration issues even 1,000 years ago. And we know what God wants from his people. You must understand that God does not belong to a nation. He is a God that owns more than this small planet called Earth. He owns the whole universe. The galaxies are his. The celestial environments are his. The deep and the abyss, they are also his. The seas and the oceans belong to him. So whatever truth there is in God, we will not favor a certain people over certain people. The truth of God will not favor Americans over British people. The truth of God will not favor Zimbabweans over South Africans, because God is not a Zimbabwean, neither is he a South African. So be careful now that you may have your own prejudices and your own paradigm biases that you might want to claim they are gods. God is not biased because God cannot be bribed. You know, there's a scripture in Deuteronomy that says nobody can bribe God. What a beautiful scripture that is. Did you know, brethren, charity, that God said, you can't bribe me. Yes. Be careful now if you try to bribe me. Huh? I'll give it to you very soon. God cannot take a bribe.
Yes.
So you can't offer God something and say to him, say something to me, Lord, that favors me ahead of other people.
Yes.
Treat me as a special person. And then God will say, you are special to me. So all other people are not special now. What makes you think that you can corrupt me? Let us begin to read Romans chapter 2. We want to prove that God does not take a bribe. Let us read verse 5 to verse 11.
But after thy hardness and impediment had treasured up unto thyself wrath against the day of wrath and revelation of the righteous judgment of God.
Yes, so the righteous judgment shall actually be revealed.
Who will render to every man according to his deeds.
God will render to Zimbabweans according to their deeds.
To them who by
Pastor
patience...
Did he say God will render to Zimbabweans?
No, he said he will render to every man according to his deeds. Yes.
So God will render to South Africans according to their deeds.
Yes.
Is that what he says?
No, he said to every man.
So why are you saying yes?
He said to every man. It doesn't matter whether you are South African or you are...
God will judge everyone.
Yes.
According to their deeds.
Yes.
So I want to say it should be understood that most people forget, and then they come to us expecting us to be playing according to the tune. There's so much being said on social media about the situation in South Africa. And if you are listening to me now, I must warn you, but I don't have to warn you if you have listened to me before. I am not a person who is a populist. I am not a person who plays to the gallery. I am not a man pleaser. I am not nobody's minion. Neither am I anybody's court jester. So when you come to Chiwenga, be ready to hear counsel from God. You may like it or you may not like it. We don't care. We don't speak to be liked. If you want to be liked by everybody, ask God to turn you into ice cream. That is the only thing that is loved by everybody. Perhaps money. Money is loved by everybody. So we don't expect you to think that we'll say things that you clap hands to. We won't. So God will judge everyone according to his deeds, yes.
To them who by patient continuance in well-doing seek for glory and honor and immortality,
Yes.
eternal life.
Yes.
But unto them that are contemptuous and do not obey the truth, but obey unrighteousness, indignation and wrath.
So if you are contentious, if you argue about or you argue against God's law, and you do not obey the truth. Now, this is why we say there's one truth now. Yes. There may be many facts, but there is one truth. So the truth that Romans 2 verse 8 alludes to is not political truth. It is not economic truth. It is doctrinal truth, which will apply whether you are a believer or you are not.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
Yes. So I discussed with a Muslim when I was flying from Doha. I think I was going to Dubai. And he said, the Bible and the Quran, they almost say the same thing. So you must know that we Muslims and you Christians, we have a lot in common. So I smiled and I said, well, you have already told me that you are a Muslim, but you did not dare to ask me, who am I? So that I'm a Christian is your branding. I'm not a Christian.
Yes.
So who are you? If you hold the Bible, you talk about the Bible, then you should be a Christian. I said, that is lack of exposure of the truth. And I said to him, was Paul a Christian? He said, no. I know that Christianity started later. And I said, you see? Anything that started after Jesus is not of Jesus. Because Jesus is the founder.
Yes.
But then I say to him, the reason why there are similarities in what the Quran says and what the Bible says, it is not because both books were inspired by the same God.
No.
It is because those who wrote the Quran plagiarized the Bible. There is academic evidence, scientific evidence that the Quran plagiarized the Tanakh.
Yes.
Yes, because when we say the Bible, people might think about the King James. These things happened many years ago. When the Quran was written, the Tanakh was more than 1,000 years old. Yes. By the time Jesus came into the world, the people of Israel had been practicing the teachings of the Tanakh for 1,200 years. Comparing the Bible and the Quran is extremely uneducated. Because these two happened in two different historical contexts. So when I said it, he said, look, you don't know what you are talking about. And I opened the Quran. I had the Quran in my bag. I said, I have the Quran. I can open Surah 5 for you. He says, no. Let's not do that. You know, one of the reasons why Christians are put to shame by Muslims is because they don't know how to study Islamic literature. I have it. I have the Sahih al-Bukhari. I have the Sunan Desai. Yes, I have those books. You cannot discuss something that you are not informed about.
Yes.
So I just mentioned this because I wanted you to know that when we talk about the truth, there is only one truth.
Yes.
And there are certain things that only the Bible is authority about. Even science has not established a scientifically proven position about something that God described in the Bible. For example, death. Science says death is a product of the degeneration of living cells. They grow old and die. Cells. Since biology is all about cells, then cells, when they die and develop new ones, the cycle will become, it's not an infinite cycle. And that is what science has said as the explanation of why we die. But the same science does not explain why infants die. Surely an 8-month-old cannot have grown old in terms of its cells.
Yes.
So this is just an example. So when we say there's one truth, we are talking about the truth of God that transcends beyond generations that are known. The truth of God that has remained true since creation. The truth of God that is being corroborated by science. Science is confirming what the Bible has said.
Yes.
Now, let's finish the book of Romans. So when we say we have some truth and we have a position, we want to address a certain matter on. We are not going to use philosophy, political science. We are not going to go on ChatGPT and Google some explanations and bring them to you. You can equally type a certain question on ChatGPT and it can give you the same answer. Here we come to ventilate the truth of God concerning matters. Today, we are going to address the immigration problem that has happened in South Africa and where our people, Zimbabweans, are also found in the crossfire. So if you are a Zimbabwean and you are in South Africa and you are wondering what would be the correct interpretation of the situation, you are in the right place. We will show you the truth of God. But before we open scriptures that address this truth, we must show you that God is not patronizable. You can't patronize God. You can't bribe God. We are going to read 2 scriptures, Romans chapter 2, from verse, what verse were you reading? From verse 5 to verse 13, right? Let's read verse 9.
Tribulation and anguish.
So in verse 8, he had said, those that do not obey the truth, but they obey unrighteousness, what they shall find is indignation and wrath, tribulation and anguish upon every soul of men that doeth evil. Yes.
Of the Jew first and also of the Gentile.
So if you are a Jew, you are not safe from the judgments of God. If you are a Gentile, you are not safe. God will judge everyone alike. Verse 10.
But glory, honor, and peace to every man that worketh good, to the Jew first and also to the Gentile.
Yes.
For there is no respect of persons with God.
Yes. So whatever truth there is, one of the characteristics of the real truth is that it has no exceptions. And there is one of the scriptures. If I preach a truth here and I then say this truth applies to Pastor Rengwe and to Brethren Charity, but me, I have a special category which gives me exceptions. That is evidence that whatever I'm saying is not truth. I am talking to you about my own predispositions, my opinions, my perceptions, and my preferences. That's not a truth. Whatever your pastors are saying, whatever politicians are saying, whatever economists are saying, if it fails the Romans 2, 5 to 11 test, it is not a truth. It might be a fact. What we are going to say today should not have respect of persons if it is from God. Because one of the characteristics of truth is that it comes from God. If it comes from Chiwenga's head, it's not a truth, it's his opinion. What makes it true is that it comes from God. And God, on the other hand, respects nobody. Those who want respect, excuse us. Once we speak from God's vantage point, He will find us lacking respect. Because the one we represent is not duty bound to respect you. Assuming that you are a president, you will never hear a man of God who will say to me, God says, Your Excellency, Once a man of God says God has sent him to tell you that you are your excellency, that is a sign that he is not coming from God. Hakuna zuva richazombofa Mwari akati kumunhu honorable kana kuti your excellency. Pastor Rengwe, if you become a president tomorrow, as a citizen, I might call you your excellency.
Yeah.
But when somebody says to you, a servant of God is coming to you, his name is Apostle Chiwenga, know of a surety that the one who has sent him does not respect you.
Yes.
Once he says, Your Excellency, know of a sure, know of a surety that is not coming from God. It's poverty and starvation. Hakuna munhu anombofaka dzina Mwari honorable kunyepa. Let us read the scripture to prove this. Honorable. God calling you honorable. It's a lie. It's a lie. That is evidence that God does not say to you.
Yes.
2 Samuel, chapter 7. Chapter 7, brother in charity. We are going to read Deuteronomy 10, 17 very soon, but we are still going there. You honorable minister, God is saying this is a lie. Once a man or a woman calls you honorable, he is not coming from God.
Yes.
Honorable, Mwari. Mwari achikuti honorable iwewe. Nekatumbika ka. But honorable izvezvi. Kunyepa. Inda mchitaura nevanhu vane nzara, mofunga kuti masakara nevanhu vanobva kuna Mwari. Vanhu vanobva kuna Mwari. Wambofoka kuti honorable ava. 2 Samuel chapter 7. So now this is a very important matter. A brief background. David was a king, which is equal to a president today. Unfortunately, I don't know, Brethren, Church and Pastor Rengwe, whether we can say fortunately or unfortunately, that the president had become friends with the prophet. Which, in my opinion, is good and bad at the same time.
Yes.
Prophet, a true prophet now, not these charlatans. We are talking about a true prophet, Nathan.
Yes.
He became the president's friend. I think it's, to a great extent, not a good idea. It's better for a man of God to have a strained relationship with politicians than to be close to them. I won't explain why it's not the matter of today. So one day Nathan was called by the president, his friend, and David said, I want to build a temple for God. Nathan was asked, what do you think about it? Can I go ahead? Nathan said, go ahead. Build God a temple. No one will stop you. God will bless you.
Yes.
Apparently, Nathan was not asked by God to authorize the David temple project.
Yes.
It was his personal opinion, which is one of the problems of being close to politicians.
Yes.
One day over braai, he will say things that God never asked you to say. Newangunakirwa nestake, unogonogotaura zvasina kutumwa naMwari. Wazvona pastor?
Yes.
Eh, unoisirwa jumping castle ukakanganwa kuti munhu waMwari wakujamba pa jumping castle. Munhu waMwari wakujamba pa jumping castle pa State House. Cha. Wakungoti blessings, glory. I don't like it myself. But if you like it, that's your choice. So one day, Nathan said to the king, go and build a temple. God is with you. But Nathan was not instructed.
Yes.
He spoke from his heart. Then at night, God spoke to Nathan and said, what you said yesterday to the president, that was your opinion. I never asked you. This is now what I want. Go back to the king. Tell him the following message. So let's read what God finally said to Nathan that he should report to the king about. Verse 4.
And it came to pass that night that the word of the Lord came unto Nathan, saying, go and tell my servant David.
No. Go and tell his highness, his excellency,
Go and tell my
the
servant,
commander of the defense forces, the
my
head of state and
servant,
government,
my servant,
the chancellor of all universities, and the principal of all secondary schools and preschools.
my servant David.
David is not his royal highness, his majesty, his excellency. He's just a servant, a common servant. Now, listen to how God addressed the king. Start afresh, verse 5.
Go and tell my servant David, Thus says the Lord, shalt thou build me an house for me to dwell in?
Yes.
Whereas I have not dwelt in any house since the time that I brought up the children of Israel
Even to
out
this
of
day.
Egypt, even to this
But
day.
you've walked in a tent and in a tabernacle.
In all the places wherein I have walked
Yes.
with all the children of Israel, spake I a word with any of the tribes of Israel, whom I commanded to feed my people Israel, saying, why build ye not me an house of cedar?
So in verse 6 and 7, God simply said to Nathan, go and tell your king that he is a servant of mine. I have not asked him to do that. Why would he want to build me a temple that I did not ask him to build?
Yes.
Verse 8.
Now therefore, so shalt thou say unto my servant David, thus says the Lord of hosts, I took thee from the sheepcote, from following the sheep, to be ruler over my people, over Israel.
Yeah. God put David in his place. God said, very few days ago, you were leading the sheep, following after sheep. I took you from the sheepcote. Ndakakutora mudanga remakwai. Hauda kuzvikudza imba yangu yemusidhari, ndakuda kuvakira Mwari temberi. Wangori mufudzi wemakwai manje manje. Nathan is told by God to remind the king how humble he was before he made him a king.
Yes.
In other words, God saw signs of pride in the king. Because when he spoke to Nathan, he said the reason why he wanted to build a temple, it was because he felt pity for the tabernacle of God. And that's what God was not amused by.
Yes.
So just one example to show you that you don't meet a man that is sent from God calling politicians honorable, Your Excellency, Your Highness. No. You can go and read the book of First Kings, perhaps it's chapter 19, where Naboth died, and see how Elijah met with Ahab. He never said, Your Excellency, the Most High, the highly exalted one, or the anointed one. No, he didn't. So let's go back to Deuteronomy 10:17. Does God take a bribe?
For the Lord your God is God of gods.
God of gods.
And Lord of lords.
Lord of lords.
A great God.
He is a great God.
A mighty.
A mighty.
And a terrible.
And terrible.
Which regards
He's a
not
mighty
persons.
God and a terrible God. He does not respect persons.
Yes.
Highlight that part. That's why we read Romans 2 first.
Yes.
Because you might have thought that Paul was speaking from his mind. Does God respect people? Of course, God respects people. Where now? Maybe Paul was now angry with some politicians. He said God is not a respecter of persons. No.
Yes.
Paul was preaching from the Tanakh. Paul was preaching from Deuteronomy. He had read Deuteronomy 10:17 and found out that God will not respect anyone.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean that those who are sent from God are asked by God to insult people.
No.
That doesn't mean the same. It simply means that God will not come to you as though he is your equal. God will not come to you as though he is inferior to you. No. He will not come to you and bow down before you. He is the Lord God of gods, Lord of lords, a great God, a mighty God, a terrible God, who will not regard titles, doctor, engineer, barrister, advocate. He will not regard them, my dear. If you are a barrister, know where your barristership ends. Once you come to God, you are an aporoka with a big hand and feeble legs, nothing more. Does God take a bribe?
No.
Read again.
For the Lord your God is God of gods and Lord of lords.
So we want to
great
see the
God,
NASB rendering of verse 17.
a mighty and a terrible, which regards not persons.
Does
nor
he respect
takes
people?
reward.
Does he take a bribe? Let's read the NASB.
For the Lord your God is the God of gods.
Yes.
And the Lord of lords.
Lord of lords.
The great, the
He's
mighty.
Great. He's the great and mighty God.
And the awesome God who does not show partiality nor take a bribe.
You can't bribe God even with building him a temple. Like David wanted to build a temple and God said, Nathan, go and tell your friend that he should stop what he's planning to do. He should stop building me a temple. I don't want a temple from David. Imagine, God almost got a gift of a beautiful temple from the president. And God said, I don't want.
Yeah.
Now, if you go to Chronicles now, 1 Chronicles 28, you will find out why God said to David, don't build me a temple. I don't want. You might say, but Apostle, why would God say he does not want? Verse 2 and 3. 1 Chronicles 28. You say, could God say no? Imagine we want to build Ziklag city. And then a certain president offers to build it for us. And then God says, Chiwenga, tell this president, I said no. He should keep his money. The God that our pastors are preaching today, he is a very angry God. He takes money from everyone. Especially if you say you have money. The man of God will speak in tongues. He will pray for you and he will make sure before his prayer ends, he speaks into tongues. Ariakwata, Ariakwata. 4x4 Michael. Petersburg. Divine under glory control. When pastors see money, they behave like dogs that have discovered bones. They start to say, God will bless you. I pray, I pray. Go, receive, receive. And then they drift into tongues. And you speak like, you feel like you are almost in heaven. Apparently there's no heaven. The man is angry. He wants to take the money. In the good old golden days, there was a God once upon a time who used to say no to offerings that are brought to him by unqualified persons. You need a certain qualification to offer to God anything. There we are in 1 Chronicles 28, after reading 2 Samuel 7, where God told Nathan the prophet to go to the state house and tell the president that God does not want the president to build God a temple. The question, the reason was not revealed then. It was in 1 Chronicles that God then said, tell the president why he shouldn't build me a temple. And we are happy because in 1 Chronicles 28, it was the president telling the people, I wanted to build a temple, but God said I shouldn't. And the king was honest. He told the people why. Verse 2.
Then David the king stood up upon his feet and said, hear me, my brethren and my people. As for me,
as for you, King David,
I had in mine heart to build an house of rest for the ark of the covenant of the Lord.
The house of rest, let's highlight that part. The words house of rest, it simply means the temple. He wanted to build the house of rest for the ark of the covenant of the Lord.
And for the footstool of our God.
What did you do?
And made ready for the building.
Read again that part.
Had made ready for the building.
And he had made ready. So he had already prepared the building materials.
Yes.
So the king was ready to build a temple.
Yes.
All that was needed was for God to say, go ahead. Now think about it. At least the presidents of that time knew that you can't do something like that without receiving permission from God. Which permission will not be communicated to you. It will only be communicated to his servants, the priests and the prophets. So David did not build a temple. He asked the prophet who misled him. Okay. He asked, imagine that we now have politicians who think they can just come to the church and start projects without asking whether they are allowed or not. All right. Did God allow you, David? Verse 3.
But God said unto me, thou shalt not build an house for my name, because thou hast been a man of war and hast shed blood.
What a king we had. What a king. Imagine if we had only 5 presidents in the whole world who knew God like David. Just 5 of them, not many, just 5. A man who gathers the whole nation and goes on television to tell the whole nation. He says, look, I will die very soon. Let me tell you the truth. I wanted to build God a temple some years ago. But then God said to me, you can't build a temple for me because you have killed too many people. Including Uriah the Hittite. Brother Jared, what kind of a king was David?
He was a humble king. He knew that before God he cannot lie. You can lie before the people, but before God everything is
But
open.
David would not lie even to the people.
Yes.
Pastor, if we make you president, do you think you can be dishonest?
Without the help of God,
Look at Pastor, look at your mother. She's now bringing God
in it.
She can't speak for herself. Pastor, speak for yourself.
God is
You have had the word for too long now. You should say, I will be honest, Apostle.
I have to be honest, am I?
Do you think Pastor Regui is honest with us today? A king who tells you that I've killed too many people, and so God was not happy, so much that he asked me to ditch my plans to build him a temple. He said, such hands are too filthy with human blood. They can't build me the Beit HaMikdash.
What's surprising me in this story,
Yes.
is the fact that if you go back to 2 Samuel chapter 7, where David spake with Nathan, it is not said that
explicitly, yes.
No, but which means this was said in privacy.
Yes.
But he was open enough with zvakaudzwa nemuranda washe
pakawanda.
Iye akazviti yacha panze kuti
nyika yese pastor,
yes.
pa-ZBC,
yes.
pa-CNN,
yes.
pa-BBC, pa-Al Jazeera, pa-SABC.
Yes.
Ndo pakabuda mashoko mambo vachitaura kuti hama dzangu ndandine urongwa hwekuvakira Mwari chechi.
Yes.
Ndakanda tounganidza zvidhina nesamende. Madhowa ndaoda kuchaina anga akanaka. Zvakazoitikana zvokuti Mwari akati ndauraya vanhu vakawanda. Haasi kuda Mwari kuti ini ndimuvakire temberi. Akatozoti iye Mwari kana ndafa inini achavakirwa Mwari temberi nemwana wangu Solomoni. Solomoni haana vanhu vakawanda vaachauraya. Saka Solomoni maoko ake akanaka. Takutosiya zvidhina kabanga zvingazoshandiswa nemwana wangu. Inini zvakatoramba. Mubvunzo wangu wokupedzisira ndewekuti muchibva paungano iyi yamaadhireswa namambo muchienda kumba. Pastor, munoenda muchitaura kuti kudii? Mama dedzwa namambo kuti akuudzei kuti ndandine plani yekuvaka temberi asi ndakarambidzwa kudhara. Mamuchingoona ndichitenderera nenyaya yekuti handisi kuvaka temberi. Hakusi kuverengera, ndakatorambidzwa. Munoenda muchiti kudii brethren chiri kudzimba dzenyu?
Kune vanenge vasinganzwisisi ukama hwake naMwari vanenge vachitsaka tingaita sei president ani akateura ropa ngaachibva paupresident.
Vavasiri vakamisa manje. Saka Israel haana kufanana nemanje. Saka nenyaya mama tingatimubvisei. Uyo abviswe nevanhu nekuti haana kuiswa nevanhu. Aibviswa naMwari. Saka option yekumubvisa papasina. Now believer, who do you think in your opinion today that even if he would want to build a temple, God would also say to him the exact words that are appearing to you on the screen there? That he can't build a temple for God because he has shed blood. Vangani vatungamiri venyika vatinavo pasi rino, kwete munyika yedu yeZimbabwe bedzi, pasi rino vangangotadza kukodzera kudoneta kana chidhina 1 nekuti maoko ava neropa. Maizvizivawo kuti ukauraya vanhu haudiwe kuti ubhembe kana uswa pachechi. Let's leave this one. So let's come back to the admonition. What is God's truth concerning the people, foreign nationals that are in South Africa? We shall rely on Exodus chapter 3, from verse 1. Let us read from verse 1 up to 10. That will be enough.
Now Moses kept the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the backside of the desert and came to the mountain of God, even to Horeb. And the angel of the Lord appeared unto him in a flame of fire out of the midst of a bush. And he looked, and behold, the bush burned with fire, and the bush was not consumed. And Moses said, I will now turn aside and see this great sight, why the bush is not burnt. And when the Lord saw that he turned aside to see, God called unto him out of the midst of the bush and said, Moses, Moses. And he said, Here am I. And he said, Draw not nigh hither. Put off thy shoes from off thy feet, for the place whereon thou standest is holy ground. Moreover, he said, I am the God of thy father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. And Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look upon God. And the Lord said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people, which are in Egypt.
Right. This is where the matter begins. I would like to propose a situation that I think our people might need some redemption from. Selective amnesia. I believe that our people, not only in Zimbabwe, but all over the world, we suffer from selective amnesia. There are things we think we should not remember. I think we are willingly forgetting them. And then when we are encountering matters that we feel they are less difficult to tackle, we easily remember them. I would like to call out, most importantly, Zimbabweans who have come out openly to criticize South African citizens for demonstrating their exasperation, for expressing their impatience with the issue of immigrants, African immigrants, which are in South Africa. I want to call out such Zimbabweans. And I want to say, I admire your expertise in displaying hypocrisy with a straight face. That you are capable of going on Twitter, recording videos, say, we condemn, we condemn, we condemn, we condemn. The coordinated condemnation of South African citizens, to me, it's a pure demonstration of selective amnesia and expert hypocrisy on the part of Zimbabweans. Because the reason why Zimbabweans are in South Africa, it is because Zimbabwe was and had become and is still hostile to Zimbabweans. The reason why Zimbabweans are leaving Zimbabwe to go to South Africa is what Zimbabweans should be addressing, and not the behavior of South Africans. So you are selectively forgetting the root cause of illegal immigration. The root cause. Why are Zimbabweans without permits to work in South Africa, insisting on getting jobs without following the due processes according to South African law? Why? Why? Now, tell me that there are people, and I hope someone will address me, even those who think they are educated, more educated than me, I'm willing to engage them. What kind of education is it that you are not willing to address the absence of food in your own house, but you are willing to go and fight with your neighbor over not sharing food with your child equally with his child? There's no food in your house. You can't feed your own children. Your child is eating from the next door. The children from the next door house are not happy because they are no longer having as much food as they used to had your children stayed in your own house. Instead of fighting with your husband why he can't provide food for his own children, you go and insult and cry and demonstrate and threaten the woman from next door. She's giving your children problems when she's dishing out food. Tell me that is intelligence. And I'll tell you that we are doomed. We are hopeless and we are cursed. If you are brave, write something about ZANU-PF. If you are brave, write something to President Mnangagwa. He is the reason why Zimbabweans are in South Africa. There's no writing anything that will change the situation. So you can write a lot. I saw someone wrote 7 paragraphs, and I just browsed it through and I said, yo, This guy is so intelligent. This guy has too many things to write. So you are expecting South Africans to write 7 paragraphs of criticism. You are criticizing South Africans on Facebook. Urukufunga kuti uchawana South African ane simba ndikuverenga 7 paragraphs uchipopota. Wadi kunyorera Mnangagwa 7 paragraphs. Gwarare munhu. You are a coward. So one of the things that the true house of God will not do is to join the bandwagon of madness in a miscarriage of Ubuntu and a miscarriage of the ideologies of Pan-Africanism. No, that's not Pan-Africanism. It's actually shameful that when More Blessing Ali was murdered, you were quiet. You want to protest on Facebook, social media protestations, social media activism about what is happening 1,000+ kilometers away from home. You want to explain to South Africans that they should treat Zimbabweans like they are human beings when they are treated like animals by their own father. A president is a father. Do you know that some Zimbabweans, with all this Afrophobia you are talking about, they feel safer in South Africa than in Zimbabwe? Yes. They would rather do cat and mouse with South Africans than the thought of coming home. Because in Zimbabwe, they are not protesters who march from a distance. You can hear them and you can run away in time. In Zimbabwe, you are taken at midnight by people in black suits with unregistered vehicles and you will never be found again. That is the reason why Zimbabweans are running away. So Zimbabweans who are complaining to South Africans, I say to you, you are cowards. Shameless cowards. Are you a man now? Why don't you go to Mutapa building like I did? In case you don't know, I went to the president's office twice. First time when Mugabe was around, before he was ousted through a coup. The second time, it was when President Mnangagwa took office. This is not something I'm making now. I went to his offices with a letter and I entered his office and I said, you are sending security people to stalk me. Your people are harassing me every time I'm leaving the country through the airport. I hear you are looking for me. I'm here. I've come to present myself. I did that. And I said, there are reasons why I criticize your government. You don't have to send security personnel, CIOs, military intelligence operatives to look for me. I am not a fugitive of justice. I'm a preacher. I'm found in public spaces. But in case you haven't thought about it, to invite me, I'm here by myself. I'm here to tell you that the things I preach about, they are what constitutes the doctrine of God. You say this nation worships the God of heaven. You took office and you took an oath through the Bible. My messages are coming from the very Bible you took an oath using. You are not allowed to kill people. So I wrote this letter to President Mnangagwa. I did not meet with him. I met with him with his private secretary. And she said, I'll give this letter to the president. And I said to her, you can talk to him wherever he is. Tell him the guy is here. One of the reasons why I am here, it is because if you continue stalking me, the fear of who is following me is actually bigger than the fear of death itself because I'm not afraid of dying. So you are sending 4 or 5 vehicles to follow my cars. The advantage you have now is I'm here. If you want me to put my head on the block, show me the log. You can cut me now. And I have people here, they will carry my body. It's not going to be a problem. We are not afraid of speaking the law of God, the mind of God, giving wise counsel even to politicians, because that is the right thing. We were the only people in Zimbabwe to challenge and to take the government to task over human rights abuses. They tried to kill me twice because of that. And here, I have a list of people that were murdered on 1 August 2018, soon after the elections. They were shot by the military. The current vice president was the commander of the defense forces, which means these people were murdered at his command. Sylvia Maposa, Ishmael Kumire, Gavin Dean Charles, James Chikandira, Brian Joao, Challenge Tauro. These are the people who were murdered on 1 August by the army. President Mnangagwa constituted the Motlanthe Commission. And the Motlanthe Commission, after months of hearing testimonies from different people, released a report. In that report, the Motlanthe Commission said the army killed these people. There is no church in Zimbabwe which has condemned the 1 August killings except Jesus Revelation Ministries. We are the only people who openly challenged it, and we said, we are not sheep on the slaughter. The government cannot kill its own people. That is not governance. Until today, President Mnangagwa has not issued a public apology. Neither has Vice President Chiwenga, who was the CDF, the Command of the Defense Forces at that time. Because of these speeches, they tried to kill me twice. And through the assassination attempts, I lost my wife. Got seriously injured, have gone through 9 surgeries to date because of my open speech against barbarism, abuse of power, the militarization of the public service, the abuse of state resources, and the constant disappearance of opposition politicians in Zimbabwe. Among other things, among other people, this is another list of the people murdered in Zimbabwe by the state. Tichaona Chiminya, Talent Mabika, Tondera Indira, Itai Zamara, Mo Blessing Ali, Bishop Tafumane, Archford Shipio, Ngoni Knight, Gibbs Chironga, Tapiwa Mganda, Tabita Marume, Dadirai Chipiro, Hama Madamombe, Beta Chokururama, Kenny Nyeve, Godfrey Kauzani, Alex Chisiri, Tapiwa Meda, Joseph Muzuramende, Godfrey Jemeze, Wilson Emmanuel, Fish Ride-Off. I think they forgot to put Mboneni Ngwe. These are some of the people murdered by the state in Zimbabwe. They hunted me for months and they tried to kill me many times until I had to leave my own country. Hopping from one country to another as I'm doing now, not because of anything. I was never looking for a job. I don't need a job. I've got my own businesses and I'm a preacher of the word. No one can employ me right now. Even if I was going to look for a job, no one can pay me the money that I would need for a salary. The reason why we are speaking like this, it is because Zimbabwe is unsafe for its people. I had employees when I was in Zimbabwe that I was paying in my business. I had to shut down some of my business operations because it wasn't viable to run it from outside the country. Those people are now jobless. They lived on my money that I was paying them because we were doing business with them. They were employees. Now, if you want to help Zimbabweans, would you fight with South Africans who are saying their home is not in order and you are not making things better? Go home. Or you'd rather talk to your own father and say, stop harassing your children. People who say you are not doing well, they don't need to die just to prove them wrong. You understand? Yes. If we say the president is abusing power, he doesn't have to kill us to prove that he's not abusing power. He simply needs to prove us wrong by doing things right. It is not a crime to criticize your president. South Africans criticize their president all the time, and they don't find their lives under any threat. Our government is barbaric, and our government is too authoritarian. So, the Jews in Exodus chapter 3 are in trouble. If you read Exodus chapter 1, they were being abused by Egyptians. And what happens is that the Jews prayed and cried to God. And God spoke to Moses. And he said what in verse 7?
And the Lord said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people, which are in Egypt, and have heard in their cry by reason of their taskmasters. For I know their sorrows, and I am come down to deliver them.
Verse number 7 again.
And the Lord said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people which are in Egypt.
So the Jews were in a foreign land. Mm-hmm. The Jews were Hebrews. Yes. Their own country was Israel, the land of Canaan. Mm-hmm. But now they are in Egypt.
Yes.
And the Egyptians started abusing the Hebrews. And what did the Jews do?
And they've heard their cry by reason of their taskmasters, for I know their sorrows.
So the Jews cried to God. And the Jews were full of sorrows.
Yes.
Let us see if God sent people to criticize Egyptians on social media. Tell Egyptians to have the spirit of Ubuntu, pan-Egyptianism or pan-Africanism, whatever you want to call it. I told you, I'm here to tell you the truth of God now.
Yes.
These are foreigners in a foreign land.
Yes.
They feel that they are not treated well. Like Zimbabweans,
Yes.
like Nigerians, like Ghanaians, like the Congolese.
Yes.
We are being abused by South Africans. We are treated as foreigners. You are foreigners. Don't confuse the two. You are foreigners.
Yes.
You cannot say borders are a colonial construct. The 1884 Berlin Conference construct only when it suits you. Zvekuti mabhodha akabva kuvarungu ngazvirege kungozoshanda bedzi kana makuda kugara munyika musiri menyu.
All right.
We told you we don't need people with selective amnesia. These borders you are saying they are a colonial construct. They work for you. You love them. They gave you power to call these minerals your own minerals. You say gold is ours, diamonds are ours. You are using the borders. So the borders are important when you are corrupt and stealing state resources for a personal gain. But when you want to stay in another country where you are now unwelcome, you say Africa had no borders before the Berlin Conference. Selective amnesia, selective application of Pan-Africanism. We are not hypocrites like some of you. If we need to do away with the borders, let's do it once and for all. Huh? Kana iri nguva yekuti une mombe dziri kusisa mukaka, unotengesera mukaka wopa next door, utengesa dollar per cup. Kana mombe dzako dzisisina mukaka, wakuda muriwo, wakukrosa muganhu weyadi yako, unotemha muriwo ku next door, oti zvemadhunduri zvine miganhu zvakauya nevarungu. Now, some of these people who claimed to be educated, they are now exposing themselves that education has failed to make them wiser. Yes. Are you a Pan-Africanist now? Huh? Vouya here kwachiadzwa kuma South Africans tichiti zvemabhodha zvakabve zvevarungu. Vouya here kwachiadzwa uko. Vouya here kumazowe kumakomba egoridho. Mazamazama ari muMpumalanga muyami. Vouya here kumazowe kunochera goridhe. Since zvemabhodha zviri zvevarungu. Saka zvemabhodha hamuzvide, makazvivenga kutanga rini. So, as you look at the scripture on the screen, Hebrews cried to God because they were afflicted by Egyptian taskmasters. And God says, I know your sorrows. Let's find out if God sent a commission, a human rights commission to Egypt to mend relations between foreigners and locals, stay together peacefully, Pan-Africanism, Pan-Middle Easternism. Verse 8.
And I am come down to deliver them out of the land of the Egyptians.
To go where?
Out of the hand of the Egyptians.
Yes.
And to bring them up out of that land unto a good land, and a large, unto a land flowing with milk and honey, unto the place of the Canaanites,
yes,
and the Hittites,
yes,
and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites.
Yes.
Now therefore, behold, the cry of the children of Israel is come unto me, and I have also seen the oppression wherewith the Egyptians oppressed them.
Yes.
Come now therefore, and I will send thee unto Pharaoh, that thou mayest bring forth my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt.
Did you hear that?
Yes.
God never sought peace between the Egyptians, the local citizens, and the Hebrews, the foreigners. Why? Why would God not? It's like God said, well, I don't care that the Egyptians were oppressing you. Because in verse 9, God actually said, the way you are being treated by the Egyptians is not right. The Egyptians are oppressing you. So what we are saying right now does not condone. what citizens are doing to foreigners. Because God did not say the Egyptians are doing you well. Well done, Egyptians, for mistreating my children, the Hebrews. No. If that is what you are hearing, I'm not responsible for your inability to understand. I am not your creator. Maybe God will help you. He's the one who made you like that. God did not say, well done to the Egyptians for oppressing my people. He said, I have also seen the oppression by which Egyptians oppress them. But yet, the solution is not to try and reason with the Egyptians. Verse 10 is clear. Come now, therefore, I will send you unto Pharaoh, that you may bring forth my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt. Out of Egypt. Now, I want you to see the selective amnesia I am talking about. The very people who say borders are a colonial construct, they are saying this in English. A language that was used to cause us to hate our own language by the same colonizers. We don't even have a language that all Africans can understand one another with. We don't. So you are trying to deconstruct the structures of colonialism. You haven't considered that we might need to start with embracing our own African language. We must be speaking the Swahili language, all of us. That is the mother of all Bantu languages. Pan-Africanism yakwe. Iko kutoti Pan-Africanism. Kune ka Berlin Conference connotation foot. Saka mune unyengeri mufunge. Now, there's one thing that people need to understand. I think also education has failed us in that regard. The idea that everything that the whites did in Africa is totally wrong and it must be reversed. That call is made by extremely disingenuous people who know what to say for them to get your political support. But deep inside, they are sure not only is it impossible to do, but there is no willingness to even implement their total Pan-African approach. There are so many things that God has done using different times in history and different historical experiences. The idea of formal education, going to school, is totally un-African. There was no school in Africa before we were colonized. The education system in Africa, pre-colonial Africa, was oral education. Generations passing knowledge to new generations through oral conversations. Mothers would pass on women education in the kitchen as they prepare meals with their daughters. And fathers would hold diary meetings with their sons. There were no schools. It's not difficult to prove. Just tell us one of the schools that were in Zimbabwe before 1890. You don't need to speak quantum physics. And yet, formal education has become an indispensable aspect of life. So we can't deconstruct everything. There are so many things we gained from colonialism. Yes, colonialism has its own gains.
Yes.
Imagine if the whites had not come to colonize us, what we would be wearing today. If you don't know your history, you don't know why we are smiling. Shikadai shingoswera chicherereka zvataita zviya. Handiti izvi vakadzi vari kudzikisa mablouse zamu hafu yezamu robuda. Wotopedza watsikwa nemota kudai. Vakadzi vekuAfrica kudhara vaifamba mazamu ese ari pachena. Zvoti kudai vakatsikwa kudhara. Padre Charity, varume vatinda vava vedu vemazuva anava vangadai vakatsikwa kudhara. Zvoti kuratidzwa hafu yezamu wobva wapotsa watsikwa nemota. Mazuva emhapa neshashiko ungadai wakatsikwa kudhara. Kutopfeka kwatiri kuita uku zvinenge zvatotibatsira kuti tirarame. kuti vanhu vaive kunguva iyoyo vakati simbei ndangariro vavasingavhirikidzwe nazvo stereki. Mhepo yetikangotuverera ruso zvaisara zvisina kunyatsomira mushe, but vanhu vaisvika kunochera mvura kutsime vachitodzoka. Zvino iwe ona zvaunoita etonge wadya mudzepete. Saka it's not true that national boundaries, being a colonial construct, we need to deconstruct them in order for the spirit of Ubuntu to thrive, in order for Pan-Africanism to thrive. It's not true. We can still exercise and practice Pan-Africanism. We can still practice great levels of Ubuntu with these national boundaries. There wouldn't be any harm to that. We have it in Europe. We still know where the country of France starts and where Germany ends. We know the boundary between Greece and Spain. They are boundaries. And yet, they have one European Union passport. In most cases, you can travel from Germany to the Netherlands without a passport. So it is happening in Europe without breaking national boundaries. So why are you trying to tell us that national boundaries are a threat to Pan-Africanism? It's not. It's simply a backpassing and blame shifting. We need to desist from that. God said, I heard the cry. My people are foreigners. They are being oppressed by the nation, the host country. And yet God's solution was not to send thunder to kill all Egyptians. God said, leave them with their country, go back home. That was God. Now I don't know. Verse 24, Brethren, Charity Acts 17. And you go to Numbers chapter 20, verse 14. We want to confirm what we just read in Exodus chapter 3 in another scripture to find out, did really God send the Hebrews back home?
And Moses sent messengers from Kadesh unto
Moses
the king of
sent
Edom.
messengers to Kadesh, to the king of Edom.
That says thy brother Israel.
Yes.
Thou knowest all the travail that has befallen us.
Yes.
How our fathers went down into Egypt.
Yes.
And we have dwelt in Egypt a long time.
So we have some Zimbabweans who dwelt in South Africa for a long time. We have some Malawians who dwelt in South Africa for a long time. Moses is talking to the king of Edom. They had already left, but they had not yet arrived in their own land. They wanted to pass through the land of Edom.
Yes.
On their way home. Kutenda kumba kudai. Mwari wokudenga akataurira vaHebheru kuti kana muIjipita musingachagarike handei kumusha. Amene tiri kuzvinzwa ere izvo? Mwari ngaidzukuru dzine shona. Mwari akati kana muIjipita vasisakudei endai kumusha.
Yes.
God said to Moses, tell the Hebrews, you are foreigners in Egypt. If the Egyptians no longer want you there, go home.
Yes.
That is God for you. I'm seeing Nigerian pastors, this one is prophesying, that one is prophesying, intimidating South African citizens. Prophecy from Hubert Angel, prophecy from Apostle Selman, prophecy from Pastor Chris, intimidating South Africans. Why don't you prophesy for the teachers and school children to be retained by Boko Haram and the Fulani headmen in Nigeria? Are you a man of God, Hubert Angel? You want to prophesy to intimidate South Africans? Prophesy the whereabouts of the remains of Itai Dzamara. Are you a prophet now? Since when does God raise a prophet who is relevant to another country but his own? Was Elijah a prophet of Syria? Or he was a prophet to Israel? A prophet's primary duty and jurisdiction is his own nation.
Yes.
If God wants prophecies for South Africa, he will raise South African prophets.
Yes.
You can give prophecies here and there, but surely the whole African continent cannot have a message for South Africa simply because South Africans no longer want them in their own country. Don't deceive yourself now. These are not prophets. These are charlatans.
Yes.
Any prophet who is issuing a prophecy to intimidate South Africans is not coming from God. Because in the days of Moses, the prophet, God spoke to Moses. Was Moses not a prophet?
He was a prophet.
Was Moses sent to prophesy to Egyptians? Moses was sent to prophesy to the Hebrews,
Yes.
to lead them out, to go home.
Amen.
Instead of issuing a prophecy to intimidate South Africans, why don't you intimidate your own president who is harassing the citizens? So God gives you strength to intimidate foreign people in their own country. You don't have strength to confront your own president. Ha! Ndimwari upi anokupa simba rekuthreatena president weimwe nyika uchisiya wako. Ramaphosa this, Ramaphosa that. It's a lie. You are a coward. Real men of God, they address issues from a godliness and a godly truth vantage point, like what we are doing.
Yes.
So, what did Moses say to the king of Edom? Read it.
How our fathers went down into Egypt,
Your fathers went down to Egypt.
and we have dwelt in Egypt a long time.
How long were you in South Africa? I saw one video, a certain guy, a brother from another country saying, I've been in South Africa for 20 years. That's a very short time. Hebrews were in Egypt for 430 years. They remained foreigners.
Yes.
But they don't do that to white people. So you are now the judge. You are going to be the High Court judge in South Africa to preside over the immigration issues of your own people. Saka, inga machaina ari kubatwa zvakanaka muZimbabwe, maZimbabweans achiburwa wani. That South Africans give special treatment to white people and harass black people. It's also happening in Zimbabwe. Zimbabweans are abused by their own government. The same government is protecting Chinese nationals doing business in Zimbabwe. Before you address the South African biases, why don't you address your own Zimbabwean bias? Usati wataura zvemaAfricana ari muSouth Africa, wadi kutaura zvemaChina ari muZimbabwe. Our government is compensating white people who had lost land through a land reclaim program. But Zimbabweans' properties are being demolished by the council as we speak. While the government is paying white people money for the farms they stole during the colonial era. We are compensating thieves in Zimbabwe. The whites stole our land.
Yes.
Mnangagwa is paying them back for stealing our land. At the same time, the president is sending bulldozers to destroy buildings and houses of local citizens. Is that not madness? So before you tell us about how South Africans treat white people, talk to us about issues happening at home if you are genuinely invested in these matters. And by the way, I want to say, if you're an African and you are faced with a decision to go home, you shouldn't go home with a lot of sorrow. I know that African countries are being mismanaged, and the reason why you left is that things were not well. But it's still your home. That's where your ancestors' graves are. There must be a level of pride that you are finally going home. Right, what happened? Verse 16, verse 15.
We have dwelt in Egypt a long time, and the Egyptians vexed us and our fathers. And when we cried unto the Lord, he heard our voice and sent an angel and has brought us forth out of Egypt.
No, he has spoken to the locals to treat you well.
He has brought us forth out of Egypt.
God sent an angel, according to Numbers 20, to bring them out of Egypt.
Yes.
Finish the verse.
And behold, we are in Kadesh, a city in the uttermost of thy border.
So Moses was asking for the king of Edom to allow them free passage on their way home. Takachema kuna Mwari. I don't know if you are a Zimbabwean, you are a Malawian, are you a Zambian, are you a Congolese, are you a Ghanaian, are you a Nigerian? I know relocating will affect your way of life. You might need to change your children's schools. You might need to do adjustments. Maybe you build a business premise. You may not recover your money. Those are the ills associated with immigration. Whether you are going back home because you are no longer wanted there, or there are other personal reasons why you should go home, the effects are the same. What I want you to know is that when they cried to God, God sent them an angel to bring them out of Egypt. Vadana kuna Mwari, vachema kuna Mwari, vaHebheru, vaIsraeri. Vatinoti Israeri yaMwari, holy nation, rudzi rwakakomborerwa, vaIsraeri ndo vanhu vachaivo chaivo. Ivo vanhu vaive vakakomborerwa vaive vakatombochemawo futi, vakutambudzika vari maforeigners. Mwari ndobva anzwa kuchema kwevanhu vaIsraeri. Mwari haana kutuma mheni kurova vaIjipita vaivatambudza. Mwari akati vanhu havari munyika mavo, imi dzokerai kumusha kwenyu. Munotangidza. Go back home. If that is the only choice we have, it is the right choice. We are not saying everybody should go and leave South Africa, no. If you are not illegal and you are doing business well and you are safe, you can continue with what you are doing. We are not here to advise on what you should do. We are simply saying the correct interpretation of the current situation is that anybody who is not in his country should not think that those who are in their own country are wrong when they say we don't want you anymore. No, that's not true. Now, you must understand that Zimbabwe once had an issue of illegal immigration. And we were not very kind to Mozambicans when we bussed them back to Maputo. I was very young those days, but I saw it happening. I still remember the news reported on national television of Mozambican nationals who were forced into buses at Mbare Msika. And they used a very, very condescending approach to determine who is a local and who is a Mozambican. They used the Shona proverbs. I remember another proverb vakashandisirwa yanga ire kuti vakanzi mbwanyoro. Saka vamwe vacho vari kuMalawi vakugona Shona but vaine accent yekuMalawi. Saka vakanzi mbwanyoro itsumo inopedzeswa ichinzi kudii. Ndobva vakomana vatadza kutaura kuti imbwanyoro ndidzo tsengidza matoo. Zvikanzi inenge yawira mudhamu. Vakanzi pindai mubhazi mudzokere kumusha. So you may forget because of selective amnesia, but we were not kind to Malawians and Mozambicans at some point. I see some Malawians saying Zimbabweans are very kind. Maybe the present day Zimbabweans are very kind. But go back into history and find out how Zimbabwe treated Mozambicans and Malawians in the 1990s. I was very young, but I saw it happening. Taitaura tsumo kuvanhu vatinoziva kuti havagoni mutauro wedu. Tichivaisa muzvimagumete, muchiri kuziva zvimagumete zvaimbotakura vasungwa zvakambotakura vanhu futi zvikanavasiya kubhodha Forbes border post, zvimwe zvikanavasiya kuNyamapanda, zvimwe zvikavasiya kuMachipanda. Tichitaurira vanhu vatinoziva kuti language yavaitaure, tichitaurira vanhu tsumo munzivi wenzira yeparuware. So when we become victims, let us not think that our victimhood makes us a saint. Huh? One of my celebrated intellectuals, Chiwenga in one of his books says, those who see no blot of villainy in the beloved oppressed, they see the faintest glimmer of humanity in the hated oppressor are patriots, partisans, and party liners. In the great finale of things, there will also be mansions where they will be lodged and received. When you become a victim, you start to believe that you are a saint. Because you are a victim. No, sometimes it's just a matter of time and chance. All right. And when I talk like this, I also want you to know that we know that what citizens are doing in South Africa is not a citizen movement. That is not supported by the state, unless you don't know how to read political situations. The government of South Africa is silently and privately instigating the ill treatment of immigrants in South Africa. We see the invisible hand of the state in what is happening in South Africa. One of the reasons that does not need a political scientist to determine is the presence of police officers. When private citizens are breaking people's doors to demand papers and flushing immigrants out of their houses, a very open and clear violation of constitutional rights, the right to dignity, the right to privacy. You understand? Yeah. Yes, the right to dignity is enshrined in Section 10 of the South African Constitution, and the right to privacy is enshrined in Section 9 of the South African Constitution. Those violations are done in the presence of police officers. That makes the state complicit in the harassment of immigrants. So anybody who believes that this is just a private citizen operation is extremely naive. But the bottom line remains, there is no solution than for our people to go home when their lives are threatened. They may be doing it privately to try and minimize the fallout with international institutions like the World Health Organizations, the United Nations, the SADC principles, and the AU principles, which South Africa may be a party to. But anybody who sees what is happening on the ground can tell you that the South African government is behind what is happening and what is done by the private citizens. The duty of police officers is to enforce the law. If when the law is broken, they are present, protecting not the victims, but the perpetrators. That means the state has sanctioned what the private citizens are doing. Mm-hmm. The private citizens are doing what the state is afraid of doing in the public. Mm-hmm. But the bottom line is it's their country. You can say, let us have a human rights complaint against South Africa. It won't solve the problem. Now imagine all the governments that have condemned South Africa for what has happened in the past few weeks. Imagine if the government of Ghana and other governments that may have voiced out their concerns, if those people had spoken when ZANU-PF stole elections in Zimbabwe, if those governments had spoken when the only politician who spoke publicly was the now former president of Botswana, former president Seretse Khama, when Zimbabweans were murdered in the streets, African presidents remained quiet. Zimbabweans left their home because they did not want to die. You understand where our selective amnesia is and our lack of ability to articulate our problems progressively and effectively. Between condemning state-sponsored violence in each and every African country where citizens are terrorized by their governments, between doing that and threatening or condemning what President Ramaphosa should have done or should not have done, which one would solve this problem? Solve a problem in the GP. Kuti Ramaphosa ngavataurire vanhu venyika yavo varege kushungurudza maforeigners. Nekutaura munangagwa kuti musashungurudze vanhu venyu kuti vazotiza munyika mavo. Zviri nani ndezvipi? Zvinosolve a problem ndezvipi? When people are crying foul that the election processes are manipulated by the ruling party, and these elections are a fraud, these African countries must come together, force each other to do and preside over credible elections. And then they must also force each other to implement policies that cause their nations to grow so that they do not become a basket case that requires citizens to look for greener pastures. The reason why Nigerians are opening businesses in South Africa and not in Nigeria, it means there's something in South Africa that is not in Nigeria. Why don't they address it when they meet in Addis Ababa at the African Union headquarters? Why don't they do that when they do their SADC meetings? So you want to force one president to take care of all these nationals. You mismanage your country. Nobody talks to you about it. Nobody wants to take you to task. Your people run away from your country. And now you are blaming this country receiving your people for being inhuman. How does that work? So our interest is not in condoning the violence that then happens through the protests or the abuse of private property rights, the abuse of the right to dignity, the right to life. We don't want people to die, any national to die, South African or Zimbabwean or Ghanaian or Nigerian. We want life to be sacrosanct as it was designed by God. That's what we want. But as the house of God, we know what is the root cause of this problem. And we know the solution. And so we are not going to address band-aid issues or symptomatic solutions. We don't want to give solutions to symptoms of the problem. We want to give solutions to the root cause of the problem. If you are a journalist in Zimbabwe, you are shameless if you have the audacity to condemn what South Africans are doing to Zimbabweans. And yet you have been quiet when Zimbabweans are unceremoniously disappearing every now and again. People's rights are violated every day. You are afraid to confront your government. Now you want to pretend like you're a man because you are speaking to South Africans from 1,000 kilometers. What a bunch of cowards we have for journalists. Are you a journalist right now? Did you write about Mo Blessing Ali? Did you write about Bishop Tafmane? Did you write about Tinashe Chitsunge? Did you write about the abuse of Joanna Mamombe and Cecilia Shibiri? Did you write about the abuse and the torture of Dr. Magombe? Suddenly you are now good at writing about human rights issues. When did you start to hear about the word human rights? How many people have had their houses demolished in the past years since Mnangagwa took office? You can't write about it. You want to write to President Ramaphosa. Imagine, with all this advice, you can't advise your own father, your own president. We don't want to associate with that. We are the house of God. I know if you are the person facing harassment, your life is in danger in South Africa, I may not have sounded like a bringer of good news. But this is the truth. Your safety is the responsibility of your own government. The right thing for you is to go and confront our government so that they can be responsible. Finally, we want to read Acts 17:24 to remind you that it doesn't matter who proposed the idea of international boundaries, but we know the idea came from God. So if you are in Zimbabwe, your boundary is where you should stay within. Don't tell yourself that there are no boundaries. The boundaries were imposed by the Europeans. We love these boundaries. We only pretend to hate them when we are disadvantaged by them. We shouldn't be hypocrites. We should wake up. That is the reason why we went to school, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Acts 17:24. God that made the world and all things therein.
Yes.
Seeing that he is Lord of heaven and earth.
God is Lord of heaven and earth.
Dwelleth not in temples made with hands.
Yes.
Neither is worshipped with men's hands, as though he needed anything. Seeing he giveth to all life and breath and all things.
Yes.
And hath made of one blood all nations of men, for to dwell on all the face of the earth.
Yes.
And hath determined the times before appointed.
So God made the nations of men. Mm-hmm. He made them from Adam, one blood.
Yes.
God wants us to dwell on all the face of the earth. God has determined everybody's lifetime on earth. Yes. What else has God determined?
And the bounds of their habitation.
Highlight that part. Yes. The boundaries of our life, our territories, our national boundaries, they were a determination of God. That the whites are the ones who came up with this idea. It was because they had already established the boundaries in their own countries before us. Right now, you prove your identity with your birth certificate and your national ID. That is not an African idea. Don't pretend that you love African ideas when your life is full of European ideas. Who saw the birth certificate of King Lobengula? Who saw the birth certificate of King of the Rovi State? These are European constructs. We love them. You proudly bring out your national ID, your passport. Now you are claiming they are a colonial construct. Since when? Is it a fault that they became enlightened ahead of us? Imosha ekuti vakachenjera pamberi pedu. Iye zvine zvitaa kuti isusu internet inonzi dande mutande. Ichokwadi ichocho. Ichokwadi kuti weje kuti dande mutande rinotaura kuti internet. Ndozvakaita shona izvozvo. Isati zive kuti dande mutande chii. Name pastor irengu amuzoti dande mutande chiimi. Pamakakura muchiratidzwa dande mutande maratidzwa internet. Now we are duplicating names of things that already exist. We are now calling internet dande mutande, which is wrong and false. Those who called the internet dande mutande did not come up with the idea of the word. Dande mutande is a spider's web. We grew up knowing dande mutande. Where can we find a name, a new Shona word for internet? Why are we calling it dande mutande? Huh? I saw the Speaker of Parliament saying to the MP, speak in Shona, and I said, Baba, those are getting Shona, those are getting Shona. kuti mubati wechigaro ndokuti speaker of parliament. Kuti speaker of parliament kuti mubati wechigaro. Our language has been abandoned decades ago. Language must be evolving. We abandoned our language. Now we are now taking names of things that already exist and applying them everywhere. They're now calling internet dandemtande, which is false. We know dandemtande. Internet is not dandemtande. Kuda kunyepedzera kuita vanhu veshona imashoko acho eshona musina. Ndozvo zvakaita izvozvo. Hanzi nhare mbozha. Akati munhu anenge aine cellphone imbozha ndiani? Cellphone inonzi nhare mbozha. Chiri cheumbozha paHuawei kana paTecno kana paRedmi kana paVivo kana pa3310 cheumbozha ipapo chi. If we need to come back to our ideals, we have to do it properly. Not to live our language when we are desperate for an identity, something. We are facing a situation where we have to prove that we have some identity. We claim we have some language. Shona language was abandoned. Most of the words we are hearing now, they are not true Shona words. We are going to need true linguists to coin new words. Kwete kutora zita rechibet kutora ka F35 kekwaAmerica kaya tokati karimwa tashayo tokati kudi ipasa tokati karimwa hurumende yeAmerica yagadzira karimwa panopuruka zvisingaite kachipiriguka. It's laughable. And by the way, we have no shortage of linguists. We have people who can come up with good words. Language needs language experts to develop. And also, if we insist on using our language every day, by everyday use, a language refines itself. Kwete kuti kana mama parliament mauda kunyepedzera unge munoda shona taura shona batu wechigaro kuti senator kana kuti speaker of parliament akusi kuti mubati wechigaro kunyepa. Gadzirai mutauro kana muchiuda. Rarombe language yedu yarombe riri kufamba rakapfeka mamvemve. Slang ndo yakunzi sona kana kuti zezuru. Zvekunyepa zvega. Azvimbonetsa kuona kuti language yedu irombe. Ingobvunza munhu ari padhuze newe ipapa kuti wifi inonzi chineshona. Zvinombonetsa. Mubvunze kuti airtime inonzi chineshona. Pastor, zvinombonetsa. Kungobvunza kuti airtime inonzi chineshona. Tipe wage rinotaura kuti airtime. Reshona. Nevadikani munaro here zita airtime neshona. All right. Finally, I have instructed our leaders that they meet with our sectional leaders and assembly coordinators and the regional coordinator for Africa. For our people that are in South Africa, we want to make sure that our people are safe. If you are a Zikla guide, we have already addressed this matter. Like Pastor Chuma said, we haven't seen anything that suggests that it will be unsafe to hold our revelation gathering as we planned, because those who do revelation gatherings, they don't do so illegally. We do things properly. Our people travel from all over the world, they have papers, and they go to attend a church conference, which we are scheduled to do from 20 August to 24 August this year in Gauteng in South Africa. But concerning the safety of our people, our eyes are open and our ears are open. We shall continue to advise our people. The safety of our people matters. I want to reiterate that as a house of God and as a kingdom, we shall not have a member of Jesus Revelation Ministries sleeping at a bus terminus or at a Zimbabwean embassy because they don't have transport to go home. We will not forsake our people. We have instructed our leaders that every section must make sure that their people are safe. And if someone wants to go home and they don't have money to go home, that section must help for those people to go home. If the section does not have money, the assembly must help. If the assembly cannot help, the whole territory must help. If the territory cannot help, the church administration will help. We will never want to hear that a member of our church is sleeping at a bus terminus with his children, vulnerable children, and his wife, because the government of Zimbabwe, the uncaring government of Zimbabwe, has done nothing. When it comes to our people, we are the government. We will take care of them. I will personally take care of every member of our church who is in South Africa, who wants to go home. We won't wait for any billionaire in Zimbabwe to donate a bus. We are a people of God. And when our people are facing difficulties, that is the time for us to prove that we are really a people of God. Atirare mumba, ime brethren yedu ine vana yakarara panze. Ajite, if we need to convene a midnight meeting to order a bus to go wherever you are, to pick you up, we will do that. But we have to prove that you are a bona fide believer. We are not offering this to all Zimbabweans because we don't have the money to take care of all Zimbabweans. If we wish we had the money, but we don't have. We wish we could provide transport to all Zimbabweans to go home. But that is the duty of Zimbabwean government. Our government always says, we thank God for diasporans, for remittance of foreign currency, which is a big contributor to our balance sheet. This is the time for the government of Zimbabwe to say thank you. Because every time a legal or illegal immigrant, a legal or illegal Zimbabwean sends $1 to Zimbabwe, the government gets something from that. Yes. It doesn't matter they had papers or they don't have papers. Anyone who sent money through Mukuru, M-Pesa, what else?
Oh, Paisa.
What?
Hello, Mari.
Hello, Mari. Hello, Paisa. World Remit. What is the other platform?
Western Union.
Western Union. If you are sending money to your relatives, the government collects the tax from that. So the government has a duty to make sure it sends buses to collect our people. But as an apostle also, I have something that I am requesting our government to do. I am humbly requesting Mr. Mnangagwa's government to give a special rebate to Zimbabweans that are going back home so that they don't pay any taxes, any VAT, any duties for their personal belongings. It's cruel for a government to expect people who are being kicked out of a foreign land to pay import duties for their personal belongings, their clothes, their household goods, their TVs, their fridges, and their beds and furniture. It will be cruel. They cannot qualify to get the rebate that is given to returning residents because most of them were not working with legal documentation. The government must say a maximum of 1 fridge per person, a maximum of 1 television set or 2 television sets per person, a maximum of 3 beds per person. You can come in and set yourself up. It would be better for them to only focus on food and housing, but they carry their furniture with them. If there is any humanity in President Mnangagwa, he must do that. We are also asking the government of Zimbabwe to come up with a housing scheme to provide these people with land from which they can build their own houses. Yes. Most of these people were living in shacks in South Africa. It would be very sad for a person to live in a shack in his own country. There's no shortage of land in Zimbabwe. The government must give people land for free where they can build their own houses. They will have to buy building equipment, of course, and materials. They are Zimbabweans. They shouldn't buy land for them to stay. They can pay levies for the development of the land, sewer systems, water systems, electricity systems, road networks. But surely a citizen cannot buy land in his own country. This is where these chachara guys should be talking about now. Why does an African buy land in his own country? Are you a Pan-Africanist? Is this Pan-Africanism now? Haasi kuda land yekuti aise chikoro, ari kuda kapisi keland kekungogara nemukadzi wake nevana 1000 square meters, anotengerei land iyo nyika iri yake. Munhu ari kubva uko achidzingwa mari yekutenga land anoiwana kupi? Let the government provide accommodation. land for accommodation for our people. Of course, I cannot instruct them what to do. This is why I said it's a request. On behalf of all those people that are returning, give them land. Give them land. They can start a small farming program to start afresh in their own way. So this is what we wanted to say. And we want to warn these charlatans. We want to warn every charlatan. Shame on you if you received the tithe from people who were living in a mukuku. But when the mukuku is destroyed, you turn a blind eye. Shame on you. Most of these people who are sleeping at the bus terminuses, they had their own churches. They paid offerings to the charlatan. In the liberation struggle, churches offered food and shelter to villagers running away from war. The present day church is seeking shelter from people who are in poverty. Iyo church ndiyo kutsvaga shelter kuvanhu vari kutambura. Vanhu vamuri kuona vachinzi vari kurara pamabus terminus avo vanotori nemachechi mufunge. Zvimapasta izvi zviri kuita kunge zvakafa, hapana kana wani chiri kutaura. Before we heard about Wikino Chivayo, we must have heard these self-proclaimed millionaire church people sending buses. Because those who speak for Christ are known for kindness. Amunyarere kuti munofamba muchinyepa kuti mune mari. Asi kana vanhu vaMwari wamunoti ndiye akakutumai vawirwa nedambudziko munohwanda kudai. Kukundwa nenzenza dziri kuita mari neFacebook ndo dzakutumira marofa echingwa. General God's general muri magod's general erudzi. Handiti mune mari tumirai kamabhazi ku Cape Town mutakure vana veZimbabwe vamunobira mari. Nhasi vane dambudziko mari ndimakatora kuti vadzoke kumusha mari dzebhazi havana. Handiti makati mune mari isingaiti. Tumirai mabhazi, tumirai manesi vamwe vari kurwara izvezvi vada kurapwa vachiuya kumusha. Where are the church people? Where is Makandiwa? Where is Magaya? He took money from some of those people and said he's going to give them stands, and they were scammed. Now the people are desperate. The charlatans are quiet. It shouldn't have been the job of the government alone. Everyone must help. We are standing to stand with our people to help our people. We won't have our people sleeping in the open spaces because they can't afford bus fare to go to Zimbabwe. We will not allow it. We are not rich, but we are not going to allow it. Just make sure that we have a way of verifying that these are truly our people. The only help we can give to everybody else is through what we have done today. Tell you the truth of God regarding this matter, what you should focus on, and what you should be doing, and hoping that our government will heed to our call and do the right thing. It is the duty of the government. The government of Ghana sent aeroplanes, repatriated these people back to Ghana. We want to see the government of Zimbabwe doing the same, if it is any government to talk about. All right. This is what I wanted to say concerning the issue of immigration crisis in South Africa. In Nigerian language, they have a proverb which says, first deal with the wild cat and then deal with the hen later. It means when there is an external threat, deal with the external threat first. And then if there are any issues, internal issues, you can then speak to those internal issues much later. The problem with this issue is that we don't have an external threat. We have an internal threat. So that is the only thing we address.
Yeah.
I hope this is understood. And I would like also to encourage our people to love, to follow due processes. When you live in a corruption-ridden country, you get used to cutting corners. Some of our people who are illegal, not only in South Africa, even in the UK, they had opportunities to follow due processes and obtain regular papers that makes them legal, either to work or to do business in those countries. But somehow, because we are now used to paying bribes in almost everything, we now have a disease of people who hate due process and that are addicted to cutting corners and paying bribes. Try to do things properly It may take a longer time, but it's better because you are not going to sleep with one eye open, fearing that someone is going to catch up to your lies and put you to task. Let's learn to follow processes. Let's learn to obtain proper permits to do what we want to do. Going to school, finding a job, get a work permit. Crossing into another country, get a passport. Cross through the formal channels, through the border entry points. Get your passport stamped. It's not expensive now to get a passport. Don't be used to cutting corners so that you end up blaming the devil. And yet you are the devil now. Get your papers straight. We advise our people to do that. Let's do a tete-a-tete for 5 minutes, and then we come back to the message. Stay with us.
Yes, believers, we are back, and I would like to think we are enjoying the teaching as it was coming from our mother, the admonition. Brethren, Charity, I really enjoyed it. But when he said selective amnesia, I really wanted to know what it was. But as he was explaining, you could tell the meaning of that to say it's when one or a group of people or anyone would have thought of ignoring the events or the acts that are happening to try and look out for something which does not affect maybe your position or what you want. So you try to evade or to ignore something like that, to say what is really the cause of this. But then he went on to say, God is not bribed. Yes. How did you like it, Brethren? Share it.
Thank you, Amai. I was also in the same position, trying to understand what is it, how is he going to explain that. And then we saw Kuti, the journalists, like he was saying, who commended vachipopotera the South African government or the president or the South Africans, why they are chasing away the foreigners, but forgetting the root cause. Yes. What is it that causes Zimbabweans, Malawians, all the other nationals who are going to South Africa? What is the problem? And where kuti address iyoyo. And I thank God titazonoona kuti God is not a respecter of any person. Yes. Whatever he has said, we went on to read
Romans chapter 2. Yes. 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 I like it. We started from verse 5. Yes. But after thy hardness and impenitent heart, treasurest up unto thyself wrath against the day of wrath and revelation of the righteous judgment of God. Righteous judgment of God. I really liked that. And then who will render to every man according to his deeds. We are looking at South Africans and putting all the blame on them and not looking at our own deeds. What also caused us to go to South Africa? Yes. What caused us to leave our native lands, Nigeria, Ghana, you name it, Malawi, Mozambique, to go to South Africa? But then the God who is righteous, the righteous God, is waiting for that judgment until his righteous judgment is revealed. And then verse 6 says, who will render to every man according to his deeds? To them who by patient continuance in well-doing seek for glory and honor and immortality, eternal life, but unto them that are contentious and do not obey the truth, but obey unrighteousness, indignation and wrath. The issue of obedience of truth, brethren, Charity. I liked it. Then what is the truth?
What is the truth?
So Mai went on to explain the doctrinal truth. Yes. Especially concerning immigrants. Yes. And then he went on to where we had to go to verse 11, where it says, for there is no respect of persons with God.
Yeah.
Which means ishavatarisi munhu ukuru hwake utekwa-tekwa hwake kana kuti kudzidza kwake, anything, any accolade bestowed upon any person. Yes. God is no respecter of any person. And we were given examples where we saw King David there, a message being sent to him to say, through Nathan, to say, go and tell my servant, yes, David, not his excellency or king, no. He said, go and tell my servant David. It's something that I really liked, Brethren Charity.
Yes, my Muri Papo, it reminded me of 1 Samuel 13, verse 13, when King Saul did not obey what God said.
Oh, yes.
Then God sent a servant, and verse 13 he said, and Samuel said to Saul, thou hast done foolishly, thou hast not kept the commandment of the Lord. The prophet did not say, Your Excellency, Mr. Saul, you have done foolishly. He said, you are addressing him as a non-entity because God does not respect. It's not respect.
Mashoko aya, Brethren Charity, kuti kuna president, thou hast done foolishly. Unenge wakamira pai nhasi unozvigona here kupindura kuti thou hast done foolishly, addressing a president. And looking at it, our Zimbabwean situation, when Amai was giving examples to say, how can you claim that South Africa is not handling our people fairly? When you are at home, people's houses are being destroyed and demolished. Think of it. Ndarwadziwa pachipiwa muenzaniso wechishona wakanyatsonaka kuti mwana wepa next door anomuka achidya chingwa chake chaakatengerwa nababa vake mazuva ese achitosiya chimwe kubva kwatanga kuuya mumwe wepa next door ari 1 vosheya vari 2 akutoona kuti chandaimbosiya chiye hachichasara kwakuuya futi mumwe wechi3 ava maneighbors ava ndo vakupopotera kuti vana vedu vari kupiwa
matai vana vedu zvakanaka iko
asi havasiona kuti ivo pache zvavo havana kutengera vana vavo chingwa. Zvinorwadza mufunge zvichitaurwa ungaita sezvinosekesa uchinyatsoona example yacho ichipiwa asi kunyatsoona zvechokwadi kuti zviri kumbofamba sei kuti unyatsoona dambudziko. Ndipo pari kunzi Mwari havaiti zvekunyengerera kana kuti zvekutenderera. Mwari vanotaura chokwadi ende Mwari vanotonga nekururama. Saka vari kunzi the righteous judge ari kutozviziva. And tanga tichiona kuti even the Israelites who knew God, they knew God's law. In Deuteronomy 10 verse 17.
17 it says, for the Lord your God is God of gods and Lord of lords, a great God, a mighty and a terrible, which regardeth not persons, nor taketh reward.
God, look at the way they described him. Number 1, he's mighty. He's great.
Yes.
Pekuti terrible, Brethren Charity. Tinoda kupa avoida tichiti Mwari rudo, Mwari nyaya kuti terrible yakakosha, which regards not persons, not takes reward. So we cannot pretend kuti titi zvatiri kuita kana kuti zviri kuita avo zvakashata toda kuzvishandisa for our benefit kuti titi mungabva maradzika munhu panze here kuchinaya kuchitonhora orara panze. Saka toita sei? Israeri aiziva Mwari, haana kutsvaga chimwe chinhu chekuita kuti vaedze kuti vangabribe Mwari, kuti Mwari vataure nevanhu vekuEgypt kuti vagadzirise kuti kusave matask masters arijuse mitoro yavo varambe vari muEgypt. Kwete, zvanzi Ishe akavaburitsa. He sent his own angel to bring them out of Egypt. So our prayer point was not supposed to pray for the South Africans kuti vatiitire tsitsi. Tiri kufanira kutochinja prayer point kutokumbira Ishe kuti vatiburitse. Tinzwe isusu kuti tinofanira kuenda kumusha kwedu where we belong. Ndafara amai vachitaura nyaya yekuti it has to be something that you are proud of, to say, I'm going back home to my ancestors. Kune mudzi kwandakaberekerwa, kwandinoziva kuti ndiko kwandofanira kunge ndiri.
Yes. So yes, Mama. So sometimes tinofunga kuti zvinhu zvisina kumboitika, but we have seen that this issue ye-immigration yanga yakatoboitika. Yes, sezvamangambitaura paNumbers 20 kuti the children cried on verse 16. And when we cried unto the Lord, he heard our voice and sent an angel, and it brought us forth out of Egypt. So we should not say the South Africans should keep us there. You should go. You should be taken out of there. Ndipo amai pavanga vakuisa request yekuti our president should at least send help nemachalatans. Aimbotorera vanhu mari. Send the people help, take them out of Egypt, out of South Africa, as the Lord did. And ndaitirwa zvakanaka kuti our mother was asking or requesting for the president so that they don't charge duty, rebate. Pavari kudzokera unongone mubhedha 1 apa hauna kwekunogara kuZimbabwe kwacho. So amai vakumbira zvekuti dei zvanga zvichibvira Zimbabweans or any African should not buy land in their own country. Tinovimba kuti zvimwe zvichaita zvakanaka so that the people will find pekugara.
Ichokwadi, brethren, charity. People have nowhere to stay, even back home. They really need. And we hear that Zimbabwe is got plenty of land. Yes, if we can just be given your portion, even 1,000 square meters is what Amai has said. It's not a big piece of land, but at least you can stay there with your children. And then whatever, it doesn't mean everything has to be free for you. We should also pay the levies, the sewer and everything else. Electricity, the roads have to be made. But then at least give us that piece of land so that we can develop from there. And some of the people that went to South Africa, it's because they didn't have anything to do. But because they are coming back again, angry as they were before. And that's the time to help them, to show our love to them. And then as for the charlatans, brethren, charity, how can they prophesy when the thing is happening now? A prophecy is supposed to be done before. Is this how people prophesy to say in South Africa they are cursed, they are doing this to their fellow brethren? How can you say that now? Makanga muri kupi makoresa zvisati zvaitika maifanira kunge makaona kase vanhu vaMwari makatoadvisa vanhu vanokuteverai muchitovaudza. It's surprisingly, as for us, brethren, charity, we had that blessing. This has been preached, I think it's more than a year now. When we were told to break the pictures, go back home, when we learned about the land abomination. These things had not happened. Saka hauna chikonzero chekuti unganyepe kuti vazotaurawo munguva iyoyo. Chinhu chekuti takatanga kudzidziswa kudhara tichinzi 2 years takati tikaudzwa kukosha kwakaita kumusha ndikudzidzokerai kumusha. Vanhu vazhinji vamwe vakatodzoka vachibva kuEurope, vamwe vachibva kunzvimbo dzakasiyana siyana vachidzidza pamusoro penyaya iyi. saka hakuna asima charlatans anoda kuzoprofita zviri kuitika panguva iyoyo ndopawa kutanga
kutaura amai so tinotenda ishe kuti kana unge wakateerera zvakanga zvaparidzwa zvakanga zvapiwa instruction kuti as a man you should go back to your home wovaka somewhere. Saka nhasi kukazosangana nedambudziko rakaita seiri kunzi izvo chibudai munyika isiri yenyu, you are not going to be stranded. You go back to kuya unowana pekugara paya pawakatovaka kare. So we thank God for that, Amai.
Yes. I like it in the scriptures, the issue of bribes again, brethren, charity. In Deuteronomy 16, verse 19, it says, "Thou shalt not wrest judgment, thou shalt not respect persons, neither take a gift. For a gift doth blind the eyes of the wise and pervert the words of the righteous."
Yes.
Trying to bribe God is trying to pervert the words of the righteous. And the Lord gave us where to stay when you read in Acts chapter 17, there from verse 24. Verse 26 defines that we have bounds. There are boundaries, brethren, in charity. And this is why we say we are Zimbabweans, because we come from Zimbabwe. And Zimbabwe's boundary. God has made the world and all things therein, seeing that He is Lord of heaven and earth, dwells not in temples made with hands, neither is worshipped with men's hands, as though He needs anything, seeing He gives to all life and breath and all things.
Yes.
Verse 26.
"And hath made of one blood all nations of men, for to dwell on all the face of the earth.
Yes.
And hath determined the times before appointed, and the bounds of their habitation."
The bounds of the habitation. Kureva kuti kune migani yekuti ava maZimbabweans vanotangira apa vachigumira apa, ava maSouth Africans vanotangira apa vachigumira apa. Saka akatipa nzvimbo dzedu, ngatigarei kwedu. Ndanga ndichifara nekuti amai vanga vachipa madivi ese, brethren, charity, kuti kana kwanga kwakanzi kuSouth Africa ngavauye vazotora goridhe riri kuZimbabwe.
Diamond, mama.
Diamond.
Umbada diamonds.
Varangi. Saka tiri kuchema kuna She tichiti Ishe ngavatibatsire. Vari kufanira kutibatsira chii? Nyika vakatipa kuti garai apa vanangu, uku ndokwenyu.
Mamaini minerals tikapiwa.
Saka tinotenda Mwari. As we enjoy the teaching, brethren, let's continue enjoying, and I think we are now ready for the word of today from our mother. Just 2 minutes tete. We'll be right back.
Yes, we thank God for the admonition that I gave earlier on in the second segment. The admonition shall be titled The Godly Exodus. We had to give this admonition because we saw that some of our people are not doing well. They are instigating the foreigners to start fighting with the locals. And that is dangerous. It's a path that is definitely going to bring more harm to the very people that you claim to be caring about and worrying about. You can't go into a nation and then start a war from there, fighting with the locals, the citizens who have concerns and complaints about the way of life, and hope that by being confrontational, you make the situation better. Any such instigations should be condemned because they are dangerous. If you are a foreigner in a country, you don't stay there by insulting the locals. And we want to warn our people all over, even Zimbabweans who are in Zimbabwe. You are not helping your fellow brothers and sisters who are in South Africa by going on to the social media accounts of South Africans and insulting them there because you are not happy with how your fellow brothers and sisters are treated there. It is possible to speak without insulting them. Express your frustrations, express your concerns, and express your disapproval if there is something you don't approve. And those who are saying we will start to fight back, that is not a good idea. I think it's very strange that such people also claim to be believers who worship God. We must learn to be grateful. Even those who help, there is a time when they get tired of helping. You cannot be a perpetual beneficiary. When the person who was helping you says, I can't help you anymore. I have my own issues that I need to take care of. You can't say, you must help me or I will fight you. That is extremely unwise. So if you are a Zimbabwean, the best thing you can do is help those who want to go home. Those who want transport, if you can help, help. If you are in another country but you can help, look for those who are organizing. Send some help and some words of comfort. Not starting a verbal war with South Africans or whatever else that you might want to do. You will not be helping the situation. So that is what the man of God wanted to say.